Paul.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Very good.
Paul, you are not only playing guitar with Johnny Winter, you're also managing him. How did you get together with him?
We met 6 years ago, or 7 years ago, in a studio called the Carriage House in the United States on the East Coast. And I was recording for the World Wrestling Federation for TV shows. And he was next to come in, and he heard me playing some blues. And he said, you know, I'm looking for 2 songs for my new I'm a Blues Man record then at the time. And so he said, would you mind writing a few songs? Live. Yeah, would you mind writing a few songs? And I said, sure. And he liked the 2 songs. And he said, do you have another one? So I wrote a 3rd song. And he titled his album, I'm a Blues Man, which is a song I wrote about him. And he said, you know, there's a second guitar part on those songs. Would you mind playing on my album? I said, okay, that'd be great. He said, you know, since you're playing on my album, do you want to play on the rest of the songs? I go, that would be fine. He says, you know, since you're on the album, do you want to tour with me? I go, that would be great. And then things went on, and we developed a friendship, a musical friendship. And then before you know it, he said, you know, I'm having kind of trouble with my inner workings, my management. Would you mind handling that? So it just developed slowly, and today now I'm his producer, his guitar player, and it's an honor and a privilege.
Listening to the music you're playing with Johnny, it's hard to imagine that you were playing with a speed metal band in the 80s.
There's a difference.
Power metal, okay.
Yeah, it was a band called Liege Lord. We put out 2 albums on Metal Blade Records. I wrote and performed with that band. And but I had went to Berklee College of Music, so I'm very well versed in playing with other styles of music, which is very important, because as music changes, the artist has to change. So yes, that was a period of time when I was recording with them, but then I went on to play with other styles of music, a lot of other bands, a lot of other groups. And when I was in the studio with Johnny, it was funny, the owner of the studio saw us play together in the studio recording. He goes, I don't know what it is, but I think you were really meant to play with Johnny. He goes, I've known you for several years, and you guys just click. So there's a really good musical relationship there. We don't step on each other, we let each other breathe, and he is the king, and I'm able to back him up knowing his type of playing with certain ways I phrase and play, and it works out pretty good.
You mentioned the Berklee College. One of your teachers was Steve Vai, another one Mike Stern.
Steve Vai first, absolutely. I think I paid Steve Vai for my lessons was a carton of cigarettes for an hour lesson. And yes, I learned a lot from him. Then I went on to study with Mike Stern and Steve Kahn, especially. Both great fusion guys. I'm big into fusion and blues and that kind of thing. That's my first love or passion. But yeah, Vai was good. Taught me a lot of exercises on guitar, a lot of ways to improve my ear, a lot of stuff. Berklee was great. Berklee was the type of place when you're there, you want to study, but you also want to get out of there. But it really created a good sense of regiment and study. Very, very cool. So.
You've been playing on a lot of records with a lot of people. You did one mini album, if I got it right, on your own.
Yeah, it's called Look. It's very instrumental, in the jazz fusion, Jeff Beck style vein, Satriani kind of thing. And I'm going to start another one after I get finished playing and producing Johnny's newest album, which has a lot of great guests on it. It's a sequel to Roots from last year.
Again, great guests.
Oh yeah, we have. I just spoke with Joe Perry. He's going to do it. Leslie West has already recorded. Mark Knopfler, Brian Setzer, Dr. John, the Blues Brothers horns, who we used to play with, myself and some of the other guys in the band we used to play with. So it's quite a guest list and quite a great variety of rock and blues songs, which is really good.
You're doing so many things, producing, managing, writing, playing guitar. What's closest to your heart?
Well, the playing, obviously. But I like to treat everything equally. I mean, my view is, as long as I'm under the umbrella or the category of music, everything is related. Whether it's producing, whether it's arranging, writing, playing, it's all important. You never know which avenue you're going to go down, but as long as it's musical, I'm happy. So if it's managing or helping Johnny's career, that's great, because it's still musical. And the better he gets, the better we can play together. And the better he sounds, the better recordings. He teaches me. I study his playing every day when I see him play, so I'm learning from there. As far as the managing end of it, I enjoy that thoroughly. I love the whole business of music. That's a whole different thing that people don't really tap into much. I think it's very rare, not to blow my own horn, but it's very rare for a musician in the band to be the actual manager. Usually it's an outside source. But I find that you're able to relate to the artist that you're managing a lot better if you're both musicians. It really helps, because you can understand when they're having trouble, why they're having trouble, writer's block, worry about sounds, and you can relate much more rather than some manager that's just oblivious to what the artist goes through. It's very important. So that's why we have a great relationship, Johnny and I, because I understand him as a guitar player, and I understand also what he needs and how he needs to have it said to him to get him going, you know. Plus, getting off of all the stuff was a whole separate thing in our relationship. That was, you know, very important to get him clean, very important. And the fans are seeing the results. Yeah.
Okay, Paul, thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you. All right, buddy.